We're going to continue to look at exercises that require that we know some things about parallel lines, and then we're going to move on to writing proofs about the things we know about parallel lines. So I'm looking at the exercises on page 82. So go ahead and open your book up to page 82, look at number 17, and draw that diagram, kind of paying attention to what you see as you copy the diagram. We have flags that tell us that DC is parallel to AB, or segment DC is parallel to segment AB. And we have point K here, which is an endpoint for segment KB and an endpoint for segment AK. And you're writing what I'm writing. You've got given AB parallel to CD, and we've got that the measure of angle D equals 116. So go ahead and write that in. Everything we're given, we're going to write right on the drawing we've made. We also know that AK, ray AK, bisects angle DAB. So that tells us that angle DAK plus angle KAB equals angle DAK, and also that they're congruent. Now, if these two lines are parallel, then we know that the measure of angle CDA plus the measure of angle DAB. So take a look at where CDA is and where DAB is. And you tell me, what do we know about the sum of those same side interior angles? Let's go ahead and extend the parallels, just because sometimes it's easier to look at them when they're extended. And let's go ahead and highlight the transversal. Measure of angle CDA, this guy, plus measure of angle DAB, this guy, have to equal 180. And why? If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then same side interior angles are congruent. A little bit of abbreviation there, but what is not abbreviated is that if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then that is not abbreviated. I need to see that whole statement. Now we know the measure of CDA, that's 116. Plus the measure of angle DAB equals 180. So, and that's by substitution. So I believe you're recognizing the steps, and I believe you're understanding the reasoning. And that's really all it takes to write a proof. Recognizing the steps, writing them down, and then going back and putting in the reasons. Measure of angle DAB then must equal 64 degrees. By what reason? Subtraction property of equality. So we found the measure of angle DAB. We need the measure of angle KAB and DKA. So measure of angle KAB this guy right here. So we know that the measure of angle KDA plus the measure of angle KAB equals the measure of angle DAB. Have I said those right? KAB. Here I need to say DAK, don't I? So the measure of angle DAK. Measure of angle DAK plus the measure of angle KAB equals the measure of angle DAB. And by what property is that? That's the angle addition property. Now we also know that AK, ray AK, bisects angle DAB, and that's from the givens. We've established that angle DAB equals 64 degrees. We know that 2 times the measure of either angle DAK or KAB equals 64 by substitution. Those angles are congruent. Well, let's go ahead and make that statement. We can do this one next. Let's go ahead and say that the measure of angle DAK equals the measure of angle KAB by definition of bisected. So now 2 times the measure of angle DAK equals the measure of angle DAB. Now take a look at all these angle measures and make sure you know which ones we're referring to. And that's by substitution. So the measure of angle DAK, or 2 times the measure of angle DAK, equals 64. So the measure of angle DAK equals 32 degrees by division property of equality. Now in number 17, they've asked us for DAB, which we found. They've asked us for angle KAB. Which we know is equal to the measure of angle DAK. So that's 32 degrees. And they've asked us for the measure of angle DKA. So where is DKA? This guy here. Oh, well, do we know that yet? What do we have to do there? I'm just going to bring this drawing down. We've got a 32. We've got a 116. So the measure of angle D plus the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle, is that my K? K equals what? Those are the 3 angles in this triangle. 180. And that's because the interior angles of a triangle summed to 180 degrees. So we have a 116 plus a 32 plus measure of angle K equals 180. So measure of angle K by the subtraction property of equality must be 32 degrees also. Check. Does 116 plus 32 plus 32 equal 180 degrees? Yes, it does. So there's our measure of angle DKA. They go on to ask us in number 17 if there's enough information for us to conclude that D and C, angle D and C, are supplementary. So let's take a look at this drawing again. We want to know, do D and C, remember K was over here. Do D and C add up to 180 degrees if all we know is that these two are parallel? Well, we do have a postulate that tells us that same side interiors are supplementary. Our parallel lines are highlighted with yellow. Our transversal would be CB. Our other transversal in this case would be DA. So the same side interiors for these two parallel lines would be D and A. So those two must be supplementary. So let's mark those differently. And the same side interiors for this transversal CB that go with this pair of parallel lines would be this and this. So C plus B equals 180, and D plus A equals 180 because they are on the same side of their transversals between the two parallel lines. So because we do not know that DA and CB are parallel, we do not have enough to conclude that angle D and angle C are supplementary. We're going to do a couple more problems and then we're going to write a proof. So make sure you've written up the notes from this example and then watch the next video with sound.